golden years. My brother Jason here, man, he's approaching his golden years, and I'm so proud for you, man. I'm proud for you.
What do you define golden years?
50. You're 50, so those are your golden years.
I guess you can say that.
And then when you hit your double golden years, you know, with the Lord's permission, man, it's a blessing, man. You know, my great-grandmother, she lived to be in her late 90s. You know what I'm saying? And it was such a blessing to speak with her and, you know, gain so much insight and wisdom, man. She was a local ice cream truck lady in her neighborhood, North Carolina, man.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man. Everybody went to my great grandmother for butter pecan ice cream, grape ice cream, vanilla ice cream.
She made it.
Chocolate. Oh yeah, she made it, man.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. She made it,
that's
man.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, diet's so important, man. It takes a really staunch individual to really tap in and realize that diet is going to be the reason why your body's gonna either agree with you in your 50s, 60s, or disagree with you.
Right.
That and a combination of exercise. And I just think it's so imperative. You know, there used to be that commercial. It was like 60 minutes a day exercise, right? And that's so funny because I used to look at it and think, you don't have to tell me to go outside and play, right? Like I'm going outside as soon as my mom goes to work. I'm slashing out the door, right? And I'm playing for 4 hours, right? Homework's already done. I'm disciplined enough to get that out the way. I'm going to play basketball. I'm going to play soccer. I'm going to run around, play football in the streets, and that just became a repetitive thing.
Well, nowadays, people are so lazy. Everybody's so freaking lazy, admittedly so.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And they know it.
They know it. They don't care. It's become normal, bro.
It's a microwave society.
Well,
put everything in the microwave for 60 seconds.
Why do you think the average American is lazy right now? Why do you think so?
Because everything's been handed to you. You know, like, okay, so when I was in school, right, let's use it as a reference. I went to school way long time ago.
Come on, bring us back to the 90s.
And okay, something as simple as going to the computer lab was as simple as like doing all my work there. You had to have, you know, access to encyclopedias. You had to actually do more work behind finding, you know, research to write a paper.
Yeah.
Nowadays, everybody has AI. They can just type and put in a few subject lines and bam, they have a paper written. So I think that like accessibility to everything without really having to work for it led to a lazy generation of people who don't really respect the work it takes to get to a freaking goal. Like nowadays, you have Generation Z demanding salaries that are more in line with senior officials or senior, you know, professionals. That's not fair, right? To those who have really kind of like put in their blood, sweat, and tears.
I agree.
But you have a new generation comes in demanding things, and over time, you'll see this generation make up the majority of the population, which would really create a problem. So it does pose some really interesting times ahead.
So you believe that artificial intelligence is a threat to society?
Absolutely.
And on top of that, so let me ask you this, right? So we're obviously in an economy and a society that, you know, we have to be very efficient with our time, right?
Sure.
So is it detrimental to society if people are using artificial intelligence to kind of speed their day up as far as researching information, or is it a detriment to society where, you know, artificial intelligence can possibly, you know, take over the human race?
Well, the direction it's going is takeover because we're feeding it. We're not really developing technology to assist us so much as we're leaning on it. We're dependent on it moving forward. You can pretty much count us out from doing a lot of things that are normal now because technology is going to do it for us.
Gotcha.
Whether it be music, that's a big thing, is AI taking over where you don't have an artist actually writing a song anymore.
Right.
They had an artist's voice and boom, within a few minutes they have a song, and people who mass consumption will just buy it. And these corporations, they own the rights to these artists and these entertainers, so they can start making movies pretty soon without really requiring the services of an actor or a musician. So
could y'all imagine a Juice 2 featuring a deep fake of Tupac above the rim?
That's the kind of thing that
deep fake Tupac.
I think that stuff is so corny, man. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Drake used the AI in one of his beef songs against Kendrick, and he had like Tupac come out and talk mad stuff about Kendrick being really not from the West Coast, not being the figure he said he is. And it's like, bro, that's just so corny to me because I appreciate authenticity. You know, when I was in school, I was asking my friend for help for coding, and he's like, yeah, man, just put it into AI. I'm like, bro, you think I'm gonna learn from that? You think when I'm going into the exam, I'm gonna be like, all right, I don't know this answer, AI, You think that's gonna help me prepare? No, that's the easy way out.
You're not learning shit.
I'm not learning nothing, and that's why society has gotten to the point where we just cannot build. We cannot understand what it takes to really get there. That blood, sweat, and tears, that grind, that craftsmanship, we no longer have that. We have, bro. That's a great word, because now I said we live in a microwave society. 60 seconds, done. Boom. You know, and people don't realize that that's taking away from everything we built already. Yeah. Because your children are going to grow up and realize, gosh, I don't really actually know how to divide. I don't know how to do long division. Your children are going to be like, what's 15 times 70? I can't do that. You know, like
I have a theory that conspiracy points to a dumbed down society doesn't really question corrupt authorities.
Nor do they question the government.
You know what I mean? Like, as long as you're stupefied, then you're going to just work a meaningless job, go with the flow, and produce more of the same, and they'll stay in power, and they can do what the fuck they want to do, and pretty much rape you until you're freaking dead in the ground.
Wow.
And that's the mainstay across the globe. You see that happening in a lot of countries.
That's what they want, man.
So let me ask you this, Jason. Do you think, with deep fake and artificial intelligence and the dumbing down of society, do you think we're going to soon to see the introduction of the mark of the beast, or have we already seen the mark of the beast?
I think we've already seen the mark of the beast. We're wearing it now. This is the technology. As once they introduced the cell phone and personal computer, that became more or less a segue into a chip implant, because technology is going to just improve over time.
We're essentially cyborgs.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we are, and we're lacking the bandwidth, first of all, and the throughput. So, for instance, you ask yourself, it would be easy for me to just think of a search query, and boom, I got the answer immediately. Imagine that. Right. Imagine not having to open up your laptop or your tablet or your smartphone to get any answers. You can just think of it, and boom, you got your answers, and that's going to lead us towards the chip. And it's not just our generation; it's the generations that come after that's going to do it, because they've already been indoctrinated from birth.
Gotcha. Yeah. So, are you familiar with the company Neuralink?
That's Elon Musk. I guess their technology to get you to interface with AI for the most part.
So do you think they're going to force that upon the masses, or is that going to be like a discretionary choice to get the implanted chip in the brain?
I believe it's going to be forced upon us, because Elon Musk said that in order to survive the AI apocalypse, we have to integrate it into technology to control it first. Yeah. It has to be a component of humankind. It can't necessarily be a standalone entity. If it's a standalone entity that we do not control, it can run wild. But through Neuralink, we can kind of jump in and kind of have our hand on it and grow with it. And that's the mentality that he's been trying to get and push through the introduction of Neuralink.
So do you believe they're trying to turn us half human, half robot?
Yes, they're pushing that. Yeah, transhumanism through technology.
And you think that's through surgery with technology, or how?
Surgery. I think with surgery, the first thing they do is at the top level with executives that have access to sensitive information is get them chip implants where they have access to the tech first, because they're the trickle down effect. They'll pay for it and then spearhead the research and development to be able to implement it across the board, to where somebody working at Wendy's can just have a chip and just, you see what I'm saying? So, that's what's happening right now.
So are you, correct me on this, so I want to say in like the 1950s or 1960s, when they were doing the syphilis tests on the African Americans, do you think if they were to start implementing these Neuralinks, do you think they would start with a particular group of people?
Well, let's start with animals first.
They'll start with animals?
Yeah, like your dog, they'll say, hey, look, we'll have a trimmed down version of this tech. And we're offered as a way to, geolocate your animal, or be able to have your dog talk and interact with you, or some bullshit like that. So they'll test it on animals first, on the general masses, and be like, okay, you guys like it on animals, how about your children?
I think they already have an American who volunteered to be a part of it.
Oh yeah, there's several. There's several. There's people at the top who already have the implants.
What are the results from these guys?
Nobody's reporting it.
Probably not.
Either way, they probably report it if it's negative, because then that's bad press, and that doesn't really help their cause.
Right.
They want to keep it off the radar a little bit and only report the good news, so therefore you have nothing but good to kind of fall back on. They don't want you to have any kind of fallback.
So in your eyes, especially with your expertise, I know you're a software wizard, man. So how?
I wish.
I mean, if not, bro, you're out there. But how do you think the government or whoever's behind all of this escapade is going to make it so normal for us to have that, right? Because isn't there going to be backlash or maybe even a revolution against normal people who believe this isn't it?
Well, the thing is that you had Generation Z who are going to make up the majority population in 5 to 10 years. So majority
grow up
rule
with that kind of stuff,
right? They're going to be majority rule. They're already going to be like pretty much indoctrinated to where like people like us going to be like old and like we can't stop it. We can't really. We don't have a voice. We're not like the dominant workforce. We're not using it every day.
And the way how I view it, right, as long as we're not purchasing paper assets, as long as we're not building that bridge to get to financial freedom, as long as we stay dependent on the government, I believe later down the road, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to get too political here, but I think it's going to get to a point where if you want incentives from the government, then they're going to force the mark of the beast upon you. Whether that be a chip in your arm or whether that be, a chip in their brain from Neuralink.
It could be the voting fraud issue, and using that as kind of like a reason where people feel that passionate about voter turnout, they say, fuck it, you know what, this is going to be a combination of my ATM card, my credit cards and all that. Instead of like having multiple cards in your wallet, you can have a chip that has all those cards kind of like embedded to where.
I mean, they already have that technology with the Apple Vision Pro, right?
You go to an ATM machine, you don't need to enter your card anymore. You just flash it. So imagine just having it in your wrist, just do everything on there. Your voter records, you know what I'm saying? Your driving record.
That's scary.
No more wallets.
Right, because it started with the idea of, okay, everyone needs a vaccine, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, we're going to get a chip to be able to identify, right, who is. And then that was going to expand, I believe, into just identifying you, having your profile within your wrist or some
kind of like a barcode.
Yeah, like a barcode to see who you are, and your profile is going to be apparent.
Yep.
And so that had me so scared, man. I'm not going to lie, that had me scared because I know people who would sign up to do that.
Definitely. The 90%
Most people would.
Man.
Yeah,
man.
And the very same person
you become
created
a felon for refusing. Is that what happens?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna lock you up or even
lock
worse.
you up.
Even worse. Yeah.
You know, they're using this freaking migrant situation to kind of perpetuate that. You know that, right? You have undocumented illegals in America, and you say, "Hey, we got a problem, guys. Problem solution. We got all this rape, killing, all this crime." We got our door roundup. That means everybody's got to get this freaking shit, even the immigrants.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't, we're going to just automatically assume that you're a problem.
Yeah.
So then we get forced into it.
The doors
And everybody's around you like, what's the problem?
The doors of America are open. Come as you are.
I've considered leaving this country.